Hello, my dear friends, and welcome to another episode of our reflections on the Holy Week. And today we are going to deal with some of the theological highlights in the Passion narratives according to the Gospel of John. I know that today, or on Good Friday, you will hear a lot about how Jesus saved us by dying on the cross in the homilies of your respective parish priests or chaplains. So you will hear a lot about how Jesus came to die for us, an expression of His infinite love for us. That's God's abounding in gratuitous gift, and so on and so forth. And I would just focus on some themes that are not always being discussed during homilies, because as I said, this is not a homily. This episode is not about homilies. It's about encountering Jesus, the Word of God made flesh, in a more intimate manner by our studying of the Word. So I hope that you will find this episode interesting, and I hope that you can like and share my videos. And if you have not subscribed yet, please do subscribe. But if you have already did in the past, just like and share it. You don't need to push the subscribe button again, especially if it's already colored black or with the letter D already there. So because some of you have made the mistake of clicking it, and it's not the way it should be done. So anyway, I hope that you will love and find this episode interesting. Hello, my dear friends, and as I said a while ago, we will be dealing with some highlights in the Passion narrative according to John. In this particular setting of the garden, and we will find that in the later part of the Gospel of John, in John chapter 18, verse 4. After the prayer of Jesus, which is the priestly prayer, it says here, Jesus, knowing everything that was going to happen to him, went out and said to them. Oh, by the way, I should read the preceding verses. When he had said this, Jesus went out and with his disciples across the Kidron Valley to where there was a garden. Of course, this is the Garden of Gethsemane in the Synoptics, into which he and his disciples entered. Judas, his betrayer, also knew the place, because Jesus had often met there with his disciples. So Judas got a band of soldiers and guards from the chief priests and the Pharisees and went there with lanterns, torches, and weapons. Jesus, knowing everything that was going to happen to him, went out and said to him, "Whom are you looking for?" They answered him, "Jesus the Nazarene." He said to them, "I am." Judas, his betrayer, was also with him. When he said to them, "I am," they turned away and fell to the ground. So, when there are so many speculations as to why did the soldiers fell on the ground. Well, maybe they were shocked because they were looking for someone else, or maybe they were thinking that there's going to be resistance from the disciples. After all, Judas brought with him a band of soldiers and guards from the chief priests and the Pharisees. So they must be thinking, because this is the Messiah, maybe his army is just hiding somewhere. And so when Jesus said, "I am," they were shocked. No? It came as a surprise. And they must have been panicking, no? So that's it, no? Maybe because, as I said, they were expecting resistance, and of course, we know that there's none from the part of Jesus. Okay, but on the other hand, the I am there is very significant in the Gospel of John, because we know that the I am who I am in the Old Testament, refers to the manifestation or the theophany of God. So in some sense, when Jesus said, I am, he is actually revealing himself as Lord. He's revealing himself as God. So it's a kind of a theophany. And the guards, those who were with Judas, they were surprised by this. And in some sense, it's a symbolic expression or a symbolic event wherein when we are surprised by God's theophany or God's revelation or God's manifestation, our normal reaction is to be fascinated or to be awe-struck, no? So, or dumbfounded, dumbstricken. So this is what happened to the soldiers when Jesus said, "I am." They were taken aback. They fall to the ground, and of course later on they recovered and they captured Jesus. So for us, I believe this is also a reality in our lives, that when God reveals to us, He reveals to us Himself in manner and in time that we are not often expecting it. It comes as a bit of a surprise. Okay, now the centerpiece of John's account of the Passion of Jesus, other than of course the crucifixion, is the trial that happened before Pilate. John follows the script of the Synoptic Gospels, but he added some details. In fact, John gives us 39 verses to the scene of Jesus before Pilate, while Mark's Gospel, for example, have only 15 verses. So you can see here that John really dedicated a lot of details in the trial of Jesus before Pilate. Now, here Pilate is the judge, he's the governor, the procurator, and he was the one who is representing the powers of Rome. And so we can say now Pilate is the judge or the ruler or the representative of the ruler, and Jesus is the one who is being judged. But this is the irony of the Gospel of John, because in the interaction of Jesus and Pilate, Jesus has self-control. In fact, Pilate became confused. Sometimes he is taken aback by the attitude of Jesus, no? And it seems that he is the one who is being judged here. That is the irony. He is thinking that, of course, people are thinking, and that's the reality of the time, Pilate is the judge. But in the narrative of John, the way St. John tells the story about this encounter between Pilate and Jesus, the role seems to be reversed. The judge is the one being judged. Unwittingly reveals who Jesus is. And that is again another irony in the Gospel of John. So the Roman procurator, a heathen, a non-believer, is the one who revealed who Jesus is. How? Remember the scourging of the pillar? It is said here in the Gospel of John that they dressed Jesus with a purple cloak, which is of course the color of royalty. And he placed them, the soldiers placed on the head of Jesus a crown of thorns. So, and then Pilate showed Jesus to the people and say, ecce homo. So, edo ho anthropos. No? So, behold the man. Of course, referring to Jesus's demeanor as, or rather his image there of a suffering servant. But at the same time, unwittingly, Pilate proclaimed Jesus to be the man, which means the Messiah, the King. How? Because he is clothed in purple cloak and crowned with thorns. So this is an irony, no? Wherein what they might have intended was that Jesus is to be mocked, and he was mocked indeed, but on a deeper level, Jesus was shown to be the King, the Messiah. Okay? And I believe this is, in terms of our lives, this is something significant because, as I said, that this is again another theophany, another revelation of the person of Jesus, which means that God reveals to us Himself even in the most unexpected manner. Or sometimes when we are thinking that it is something bad, it turns out to be good. Something which seems to be a curse is actually a blessing. And as I said, that which was designed for the purpose of mockery actually revealed in the perspective of the Gospel of John to be the revelation of Jesus as the Messiah. And so in our lives, it can also happen that sometimes those moments when we are mocked, when we are scorned, when we are rejected, that reveals God's grace all the more.